Welcome to Little English Studio, where English learning meets the inspiring stories of the world's greatest people. Here, we tell powerful life journeys in clear and simple English, so you can improve your English while discovering lessons of success, struggle, and hope. Today, we bring you the fascinating story of a woman who turned family remedies into one of the most famous medical brands of the 19th century. She was not only a healer and entrepreneur, but also a pioneer in marketing, women's health, and social empowerment. This is the life story of Lydia Estes Pinkham, the woman behind Lydia Pinkham's vegetable compound. Lydia Estes was born on February 9, 1819, in Lynn, Massachusetts, into a large Quaker family. She grew up in a household that valued education, morality, and community service. Her parents, William Estes and Rebecca Chase, raised her with strong Quaker beliefs: honesty, modesty, equality, and service to others. From a young age, Lydia showed a great interest in healing, herbal medicine, and women's health. In the 19th century, medical care for women was often inadequate, expensive, and dominated by male doctors who paid little attention to the specific needs of women. Many women turned to home remedies, and Lydia became skilled at preparing herbal treatments passed down through generations. Her Quaker background also instilled in her a spirit of independence and social justice. Lydia grew up believing in equality for women and men, which would later influence both her business and her message to society. In 1843, Lydia married Isaac Pinkham, a widowed shoe manufacturer with 4 children from his first marriage. Together, Lydia and Isaac had 5 more children, making her the mother of a very large household. Life was not easy. The Pinkham family struggled financially. Isaac's business faced difficulties, and the family often lived on the edge of poverty. Lydia worked hard, balancing household duties with raising children, while continuing her interest in herbal medicine. During this time, she developed her most famous remedy, a tonic made from herbs, alcohol, and other natural ingredients designed to relieve menstrual pain, menopause symptoms, and female complaints. This recipe, known as Lydia Pinkham's vegetable compound, was first used only within her family and circle of friends. The women who tried it found relief and spread the word. Lydia became known in her community as a woman who could help with women's health problems when doctors either could not or would not. The real turning point came in the 1870s, during the economic depression known as the Panic of 1873. Isaac's shoe business collapsed completely, and the Pinkham family was left nearly destitute. At this desperate moment, Lydia and her children decided to commercialize the family remedy. With no other reliable income, they believed the medicine could support them. In 1875, they began producing and selling Lydia Pinkham's vegetable compound on a larger scale. The product was marketed as a cure for a wide range of women's health problems, including menstrual cramps, hot flashes, weakness, and other conditions that were rarely discussed openly in Victorian society. One of Lydia's greatest contributions to business history was her innovative use of marketing. At a time when most advertisements were plain text, Lydia's son Daniel Pinkham developed creative advertising strategies that turned the compound into a household name. Her portrait on every bottle, Lydia's smiling face appeared on every label. This made the medicine feel personal and trustworthy. Customers felt like they knew her. Letters and advice, women were encouraged to write to Lydia for medical advice. In reality, her staff answered many letters, but the replies were signed with Lydia's name, giving a sense of intimacy and care. Testimonials. Advertisements often included letters from women claiming their lives had been transformed by the medicine. These stories built credibility and emotional connection, targeting taboo subjects. At a time when women's reproductive health was rarely discussed publicly, Lydia's advertisements addressed these issues directly. This boldness attracted attention and loyalty. By the late 19th century, Lydia Pinkham's vegetable compound was one of the most famous patent medicines in the United States, sold in Britain and other countries as well. Lydia Pinkham's success went far beyond business. She became a symbol of women's empowerment at a time when women had few public voices. Her company encouraged women to take charge of their health, to speak openly about their bodies, and to trust in remedies created by a woman for women. In an era of male-dominated medicine, this was revolutionary. The vegetable compound also reflected a changing society. The late 19th century was a period of social reform, women's suffrage movements, and increased discussion of women's rights. Lydia Pinkham became an icon not only of health, but also of independence and self-reliance. Of course, not everyone celebrated Lydia's success. Many doctors criticized her for selling a remedy without scientific proof. The vegetable compound was labeled as a patent medicine, a category often associated with quackery and false claims. It was also controversial because it contained a high percentage of alcohol, sometimes up to 20%. Some critics argued that women were unknowingly drinking alcohol under the guise of medicine. Despite these controversies, millions of women swore by the product, claiming it provided real relief when doctors offered none. The debate reflected the broader tension between professional medicine and traditional remedies. Lydia continued to be the face of the brand until her death in 1883. By then, her name and image were known across the United States and beyond. Her children carried on the business, expanding it into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. The company continued to use her image and name in advertisements for decades, long after her death. In many ways, Lydia Pinkham became more of a mythical figure than a real person, a friendly grandmotherly image offering advice and comfort to women everywhere. Lydia Estes Pinkham's legacy is remarkable. She was one of the first women in America to create a national brand. Her vegetable compound became a symbol of women's health and empowerment. She pioneered modern marketing techniques, personal branding, testimonials, direct customer engagement. She encouraged women to speak openly about health issues that had been silenced. Though criticized, her work highlighted the lack of attention to women's medicine and pushed society to think differently. Today, Lydia Pinkham is remembered not only as a businesswoman, but as a cultural pioneer. Her name still appears in discussions about women's health, marketing history, and the rise of consumer culture. And so, the story of Lydia Estes Pinkham is not just about medicine or business. It is the story of a woman who faced poverty, used creativity and courage, and gave women a voice in their own health. She became a symbol of care, empowerment, and innovation. Her life teaches us that sometimes, the most powerful changes come from ordinary people with extraordinary determination. This was the inspiring journey of Lydia Estes Pinkham,